Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome back to Aurora 4X. The time is now. It's obviously not then. The time is to make a new military fleet. We need to make a new military fleet because our old one is pretty old at this stage. I don't know if we can see the date that they were created, but fairly old. I mean, can we see the date they were created? It'd be quite interesting. Let's see. We want cruiser level 4? Yeah, the Sandman. That was the second wave batch. But when, of course, the first wave all died. Do you have a date? Armor status, ordnance, history. Constructed. Over 20 years ago. So the first batch were laid down about 30 years ago. Maybe just a little bit less. So, yeah, we could definitely do with a new load of ships. So, we're going to start off with designing the fleet. And that's conceptually, as in, like, their role. This is my idea. I know, it's an untitled Notepad document. All the best designs are always done in Notepad. Now, we have a carrier, tank, point defense ship. You might be wondering why we've got so many roles in that. I'll explain in a bit. A cruiser, a bomber, which will of course go with the carrier, and then separate we're going to have a frigate, or at least a fleet of frigates. And these are not really designed to go with the carrier so much. They can operate independently, or they can operate as the fast attack wing of this task force. This is a task force. The bombers all fit in the carrier, so really we're talking about cruisers and carriers. So our current jump technology allows us to have 6 ships jumping at once. So that means we could have 1 carrier and 5 cruisers. But I don't want to leave a load of cruisers potentially without jump drives. So I might go 2 carriers, 4 cruisers. Maybe something like that. We'll have to see how it works out in terms of the weight, but it should be okay. Now, the bombers are all going to fit inside the carrier, and the frigates are all going to go in a separate fleet. They might not have jump drives. We'll see. Probably going to lean on the side that I want to be able to save the weight, so I'm probably going to go without jump drives for them, and just rely on having jump gates in the area. And if I need to, I can jump them out of the system using a jump gate, and then jump back in by sending someone out to piggyback them. So I could send a carrier to go and pick them up. It can be done. So let's just leave it at that. So the reason I have a carrier tank point defense, originally I had, we'll have carrier and a tank, 2 separate ships and 4 cruisers. The problem is, if we pull up the shipyards, you will see that we have a shipyard here with 40,000 tons, one here with 20,000 tons, that's going to be our cruisers. This is going to be effectively our capital ship, flagship. And they've got 18,000 tons, etc. So we would have to build the tank and the carrier at the same place. And to do that, they need to be within 20% similar, because you can have 2 things being produced at the same place, provided you have them within 20%. That would mean that they'd have to be so similar, it wouldn't really be worth making them different at the end of the day. They might as well be homogeneous and replaceable. Now, people might be like, well, you're not specializing to the max. Yes, but in terms of logistics, it's much easier to replace and chop and change. If we lose one of the cruisers, the carriers, we can still operate. So unfortunately, we're going to have to build 2 carriers to 4 cruisers. 1 to 5 would be a better ratio in terms of power, but it wouldn't offer us any fallback. So, I wanted to pick the notepad. There we go. So we're going to be having probably 2 carriers, 2 cruisers. The carriers will, of course, be somewhat normal roll then, because they're also going to have to pick up the slack that having 2 to 4 ratio is going to offer, because we will be losing out on an extra cruiser worth of firepower. The bombers, they are going to be... They fulfill a very distinct role in this. We had the issue last time that the Freya was running away from us, and we had to do some rather fancy flying to be able to pin them. We don't want that to happen again. So what we need is a fast ship that can run close and then fire missiles. This is where the bomber comes in. The bomber's idea is it fires box launcher missiles, which are missiles that fire and cannot be reloaded. You have to go back to the ship to reload, which is fine, because, that's what the bomber does. Gets close, fires once, bugs off. It's going to be stealthy, or at least a little bit stealthy. I'm not like having a cloaking device, but, having thermal dampening on the engine. So the idea will be that they don't see it till it gets close. It won't have active sensors. It's going to use the carrier sensors to ping for it. And then it fires the missiles. The missile's going to be fast. It's going to be fast. It should be able to catch up. I'm hoping for a minimum of 16,000 kilometers per second, trying to get 20. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how big I'm going to build this, by the way, because these will be fighters, in inverted commas, which is 500 tons or less. The smaller you make them, the more you can fit on a ship. So if we make them 300 tons, even better. If we make them 250, even better. But we'll have to see. And then we've got our frigates. The point behind the frigates is going to be volley fire. So we're going to look at smaller launchers, so we can pack lots of them in, which will massively increase the fire rate. Would decrease the fire rate. It would take a lot longer to reload. But we should be able to go, bam, volley, which should make up for the smaller size of the ships by just overloading missile defense. It won't, of course, be as powerful as the cruisers, and they certainly aren't going to take as much of a beating, but we're going to rely on their speed. They're going to be fast. The reason that I want fast frigates isn't totally necessary now that we've got the bombers. They are very much a fallback type of thing if we're talking about pure strength, but what I want them is a quick reaction force. If someone attacks Seoul, I want them to be able to get to the jump point. I want them to be able to get to the jump point quicker than the other force. I want them traveling about 10,000 kilometers per second, preferably a little bit more. The bombers could do that, but the bombers would probably have to turn around and come back because they would not have the fuel, nor would they have the crew capacity and stuff, or the maintenance supplies to do that. So we're very much looking at these guys are going to be our sort of a fast response. They are a fast response. They aren't designed to be offensive, but they are designed to be a mobile defense. We can use them offensively if we need to, but it wouldn't be my first choice. So let's get to this. So the place to start, I think, is from the bottom up. So bomber into carrier. I know we're skipping cruiser because cruisers aren't dependent on anything else. Bomber into the carrier. And of course, that means we probably need to design the missile. So we're going to do the bomber first, and as we get to the point of actually arming the bomber, we'll see what we think. Like, we might put a size 6 missile in, might put a lot of size 1 missiles in. We'll have to see. Frigate, basically standalone, that can come last. So I think bomber, carrier, cruiser, frigate. And of course, it's going to take a while because we need to design all the technology because we've got a load of new stuff discovered, which is awesome. Okay, so, hello. Refresh tech. Oh, where did it go? I got rid of it because I obsoleted it. A lot of it was obsolete. So we have a Resonance fighter bomber. There isn't a designation for bomber. And to be honest, these bombers are probably going to have Gauss cannon on them, so that if we need to, like, oh, we're out of missiles. Oh, this guy's crippled. We might as well go and shoot it down. Because Gauss cannons don't run out of ammo, because it's presumed that the ammo is so small you don't need to reload them, so you don't need ammo for them. Also, the ammo for a Gauss cannon is just lumps of ferrous iron or whatever. It can't explode, it's not fancy like a missile, you're probably okay with it. You don't need to worry about storing it. It is not worth figuring in a ship sense of, oh, where am I going to put it? The point is it travels very, very fast and it does damage because of that, not because it has like some explosive component. So storing is not an issue. Gauss cannons, magnets, fire, lumps of ferrous material. It's pretty boring in terms of nothing explodes, but it's pretty cool in terms of, wow, nothing explodes. Anyway, so designing a fighter, we need to make sure it's nice and light. You notice that we have 2 of these fusion drives on board. I don't want to use these fusion drives. These are just for looking at the tonnage. So by having 2 of these on board, we get some crazy speed, but notice that we're almost half of the fighter allowance. Of course, the smaller the better. Do I need 2 engines? Maybe not. But I certainly don't want those engines. The reason is those don't have thermal dampening. So I think what we do is we add the engine last, because I want to be able to see what I want on the ship. So what we'll need is tech design. Hello, tech design. Oh, I've got Space Master mode on. I was having issues with some bugs and ugh. Let's turn Space Master mode off. There we go. Design tech. Yeah, there we go, it's gone. Right, so I would like active sensors. No, but missile fire control I will need. Active sensors I don't want because I don't want the bombers pinging away that location. They will rely on the carrier for pings. The reason I'm also having 2 carriers is both of them will have active sensors. The missile cruisers are not going to have active sensors at all. The carriers are also then going to take the fire because they're the guys pinging. So the enemy's going to prioritize them, so they have to tank. Unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So we're going to go for, we'll need a fire control. That depends on the missile. So we're bringing ourselves back down to what we're going to do with the missile. We might even have these guys have a different missile. A much closer range, very, very short range almost by the comparison. Missile launchers, we want a size, probably a size 6 if we can. Size 1 won't be able to carry enough warhead for me. And then let us have a look. What do we want for this stuff like the reload rate, etc.? 6 maximum, yes. Platform base, ship based, and standard size. Now you can reduce the size of the launcher, but notice you reduce it to 75% size, double reload. Half size, 5 times reload. Third size, 20 reload. Or you can go box launcher, 15% size, but 15 times the reload. That is the issue. And it says 15 times reload, but it has no internal reload. It takes 15 times as long to reload on board in a hangar. See? So, this is 45 tons. We could probably get a couple of these on a bomber. They'll give us 2 good volleys maybe or something like that. It's not much. But this is definitely the tech we want, because we want a size 6, we want a etc, etc, etc. What we should probably do is we should plug in some numbers into our Excel document and see what we get. So let's also bring up missile design. Hello missile design, what is our current agility? I believe it's 100? Yes, it is 100. And our warhead strength is 10. Oh, we're doing well. And in terms of engines, we're on internal fusion, so let us bring up this. We are on damage for warhead 10, 100. Fuel consumption, we're in 0.4. This is internal confinement 1, and I think we're still on 500 for the power modifier. I can double check that if I bring up create research. Engine, missile engine. Why don't you just go missile engine? 5. Yeah, we're still on 5.4. Yeah, that's all fine. Right. So, total missile size points. You notice that we can hit quite a lot of things. We can hit, so moving 15,000, yeah, we can hit that pretty regularly. If we go to higher damage, we're still doing pretty good, and a pretty decent range. Let's reduce the fuel. Can we reduce the fuel even more? Because this is the range I'm looking at. I want to be about 50 million kilometers. Not bad. I think we could probably raise the damage even higher. I mean, so moving at 10,000 kilometers, we're still hitting 100% of the time with a 25 damaging missile. Could raise the fuel a little bit to 0.4. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty tasty. I mean, this thing is pretty damn strong. If we have a quick look at technologies again, we go back to missile launcher, size. What if we did a size 1, right? Went box launcher. How big are those? 7.5 ton. So we could have, like, 10 of them on a bomber. Overload their anti-missile system. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So if we did go missile size 1, 9, and fuel MSP 0.1. It still can't manage it. Fine. What if we wanted 6 damage? Not 6, 4. 0.2. 0.3. Drops a fair bit. 0.25. That inaccuracy doesn't make me happy, especially for chasing down fast-moving ships. However, we'll be firing 10 of these. I would overcome pretty much any anti-missile defense. Or if we went for a 2 missile size. Now, the advantage by using the 6 missile size is that that's interchangeable with the carrier. The carrier could start firing those if it needed to. We have to reload, but it could happen. So let's go missile size of 2, and let's say we're firing a 9. It's okay. We want 3. And we wanted 0.3. There we go. We're starting to see reliable hits. A reasonable range. In fact, we could up the range a little bit. Give us a little bit more option when we want to choose to fire. Yeah, we're looking at 75% against a 15,000 kilometers per second target. Doing 9 damage. How much would that weigh for a 3 launcher? If we go to size 3, 22.5 tons. We are looking at a slightly larger weapon system than I would have liked. Now, the advantage behind having the smaller ones, of course, takes up less size. And ammo will take up less size. If we went to 6 with 25. It hits like a brick. But we'd only get a couple of these on each ship. And that is the problem. If we only had a couple of these on each ship... 45 tons. If that was in fact, if that's a smaller fighter, we get one on. To be fair, if we're chasing down an enemy that's slower than us, we can just use the Gauss cannon. So maybe we should use the 6-size weapon. It hits like a truck. What's its top speed? Fast enough to catch an enemy fleeing at 15,000. Because it'll do, double speed effectively. Okay. What if I reduce this to 0.35? We could go with something like that. Still reliable hits at 10,000. Although... I think a bit of range, just a bit of utility, would be better off. Yeah. So let's go with something like this. So 6,000 meters per second. 91% chance to hit at 10,000. If they're moving 20,000, it's still almost 50-50. And it will hit like a brick. Through a plate glass window. I mean, if they're moving that fast, they do not have much armor on. If we hit them, they're dead. With a 25 damaging missile, they are very dead. Yeah. One launcher for each bomber. We're going to go small bombers. I don't want too big. I want them small. So, missile launcher, size 6. Ship-based system. Box launcher. Size 6. Reload rate. Ship-based. It's a size 6 box launcher. And it's 6 reload rate. So I'm going to put hangar reload 45. And normally that would be seconds, so I'm going to put min at the end. MF reload. 7.5 hours. Maintenance something? I don't know what that means. 45 tons. That should be fine. Yes, and who creates our lovely box launchers? I will have to check. It's the J-Cron missile launchers, isn't it? I don't even need to look that up. J-Cron Tech. Could help for Spellic, right? There we go. Let's create that. So the J-Cron Tech, we're going to be firing reasonable missiles. I think these are going to be pretty good. So let's go up and find a missile fire control. Missile fire control. Yes. I don't need any hardening. I would like you to be targeting vessels of 2,000 tons is probably pretty damn small. We could do it. And that is way larger than we need. 50 tons especially. So let's chop that down to size. 25 tons. We could do it on 0.4, but I like the utility of being 0.5. There we go. So we'll stick with that at 25 tons. Now, that is another sizable chunk of the craft. That's the only thing I have to be worried about here. We are talking about sizable chunks of the craft every time we do this. Let's just put up the tech. Show obsolete, missile fire control, chaos core. Yeah, I'm just going to hide that up here for now. So I can remember who did what. Right. How much would I say if I make you larger? Bring you down to 4. Save 5 tons. Sure, every ton is going to count. You are Chaos Core. Now, a lot of people have been like, you're spelling Chaos wrong. I know. This is the name that's on my Patreon list. I didn't pick it. It was picked for me. Beam fire control. Now, this is something we haven't had before. We haven't ever used a beam fire control. Because Gauss cannons, which we're going to have on our ship, are a beam, in inverted commas. I mean, they fire in a straight line, so yeah, it's understandable. It's either beam or missile. This is going to be a beam, so we want these all the best setting. And then this is where the fun stuff is. We don't need electron hardening. The fighters, they're not, needing to be electronically hardened. That's fine. These are ship-based. Restriction, fighter-based. Now, what happens to the tracking speed? 4 times. Great. So this is going to be our fighter thing. Tracking speed, 20,000. 50% accuracy at range, 24,000 kilometers. I think our guns are going to have a range of about 30,000. So we could extend this, and you can extend it by doing something like size versus range. You can be like, okay, I'll make it 0.5 times bigger for 0.5 range. And we would make it 35 tons. We could also decrease the tracking speed to 50% for 50% size. That's actually pretty tempting. Can I have like 75%? 0.25, 0.5, 0.75 extra, 2 times. If I could go a little bit smaller, I would. This is meant to be a backup weapon. Okay, I'm going to stick with that. It's not particularly powerful. And it's going to be not particularly accurate. We've got to get really close, although we do close the speed incredibly quick. Like every second, that's almost the speed we should be moving. Tracking speed, yep, fine. We're not going to be shooting particularly fast ships reliably. Ugh. These should be a fallback weapon, so we don't need to pimp them out. So this will be the GIP Incorporated Fire Control. Great. Yes, and that's all right. Closing weapon system. Don't need that on our fighters. Cloaking device. Way too big. Like, size. How low can we get it? 25? It's bigger than our fighter by like 2-3 times. No, we don't need that. EM detection sensors. Not really. Engines. Yes. And we need these to be powerful. 0.25. Well, 2.5. Fuel consumption minimum. Thermal reduction. 35% normal signature. And I think what we'll do is we'll make 2 sizes. Now this thing is going to drink fuel. That's fine. It's a short-range attack craft. It's not meant to be going between different systems. It's meant to operate in and around the carrier. And it's meant to be fast. Very fast. It's fine. But it is going to drink fuel like nobody's business. Just gonna point it out there. This is going to be, like, seriously, you're not ready for how much fuel this is gonna drink. That's fine. I would like to look at my technology. Ooh, it's up here. Hello. Engines. Oh, why do I need to look up engines every time? I know it's the Shane Killers. Shane Kills, that's the one. 50 EP. Internal fusion drive. It's not internal fusion, it's internal confinement fusion drive, but whatever. And then fuel use per hour, 196. Which is crazy for a drive that small, but yeah, it's going to drink fuel. We're going to create that. Now if I doubled the size, we'd get, a slight improvement in fuel consumption. So I feel fine just chucking on loads of the small drives and just being like, yeah, screw it. One thing we could consider, though, is a second drive, which is a little bit more efficient, because this is half the fuel consumption for a fifth less thrust. Effectively, almost. Not quite, but close enough. Yeah, I will create a second one, so we can have a few options when we pimp this baby out. I notice the fuel consumption, 98. Fuel per hour, 98. Create. Gauss cannon, fire rate 3, velocity 3, accuracy versus hull size. Now this is something I'm not completely certain about. Basically it says, oh, alright, this accuracy versus so-and-so hull size. So if we decrease this, accuracy 0.5 and 8%. This weapon has an accuracy penalty. Chance to hit is multiplied by 0.08%. So the smaller you make it, the less accurate it is, as far as I understand it. This makes it a very odd thing to put into a fighter, which is what the bit I don't get here. But I will have to decrease the size, got no choice. And to be honest, it's a fighter. It's just meant to get really, really close and just go which, to be fair, is fine. If it's really point blank close, I don't give a damn. It's gonna have to do that. So we're gonna get like really close, 25 ton. Yeah, that's just about feasible. And I don't like that it's so small, but if we increase it to, say, 1 hull size, all it does is double. So literally we're doubling the accuracy for doubling of the size. I need it to be small. So this is the Gauss cannon, and we do not have a core for the Gauss cannon, so this is store wide cell, which obviously is the wide cell store. They graduated from selling groceries or whatever they did. Does this say about its accuracy penalty in the title? Yes, it does. That changes. Okay. Great. Microwave, jump engine, laser, magazine. Don't need that because it goes in the box launcher. Missile engines, missile cannon, missile launcher. Shields. No, I don't want any of this. So, we're going to go and we're going to research all this lovely, lovely tech. Research. Now, I really wish you could just be like, I would like to view all research texts, all racial texts, but unfortunately you have to go find them. So let's have a quick look for energy weapons. Nope. Defensive systems. Nope. Logistics. No. Missiles. There will be a lot in here. So I would like you to have that. Look at the research points. 81. You're having a laugh. We're putting a lot of people into this. Store-wide cell, 30. And what else was there? There's a box launcher. Box launcher, Gauss cannon, sensors and fire control, the Gip ink fire control. Who else would you like? There was something else in here we were looking for. Is it the bottom? Oh, it was engines we were looking for. Did we make a fire control? We must have made a fire control. There we go, Chaos Core Missile Fire Control. Q. And then engines, engine, power and propulsion. I need to take a research lab from someone. Create. Q. And that should be all the tech. I might have missed something somewhere. Right, now, how long are you going to take? You're like, oh, we'll have it done tomorrow. Well, you're not, because it's every 5 days. So it doesn't matter however many research labs I give you, you're going to still take 5 days effectively. Oh, no, you could screw it up. Let's make sure you get on the 20th. And oh, can I? Yes, there you go. You're on the 20th as well. Still got 19 labs available. We'll do the Advanced Radiation Warhead, which is designed for, like, basically making planets dead so people can't use them. 5 days go past. Oh, don't auto-turn. Okay, lots of research, lots of research. Abandoned mine found on Duranku. You'll be done on the 22nd. Well, that's going to be 5 days anyway, so it might as well be the 25th. Be done for Christmas. Yeah, 26th, okay. 25th, and you. Done. 5 days. Bam. All done. Sweet. Let us pull up our class. Right, so I'd like to refresh tech. Okay, let's put the most powerful engine in to begin with. Now, although only one engine gets the best results, second engine goes in and improves it ever so slightly, but, you know, much bigger. We will need the second engine probably to push it around, but I'm going to just leave it at one engine for now. Because as we add stuff, it'll become apparent that the second engine is probably necessary. So, box missile launcher, fire control, and a Gip fire control. Wide cell store Gauss cannon. We're still getting a pretty good turn of speed, although I would like more. ECM. Accuracy percentage penalty is a rating, and the rating is 20. So that makes them hard to target. How big are you? 150 tons. Yeah, we're not going to be able to fit that on board. Compact ECM, 50. No, not 50 tons, not on a fighter. Fighters have to be fast, fighters have to be small. Okay, where's that second engine? Leave it at 2 for the moment, we can see about upgrading it in a bit. Okay, and then I would like fuel tanks. Fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank. What about a normal fuel tank? Fuel storage. 50 tons. What range do you have on that? 8.2 billion kilometers. If anything, I'd say that's too much. Let's try a small. Small, tiny. 4.6 billion kilometers and 250 tons. And exactly 20,000 kilometers per second. Now, if we did chuck another engine in, just, you know, out of interest, we could increase the speed a good amount. Right, let's decrease the deployment time. 3 days. We're going to shave a little bit off there. 2 crew, spare berths 2. I don't want you to have any spare berths, but I don't think you get a choice on this. Yeah, I've only got 1 fighter quarter. Fighter quarter can have 4 people, apparently. Annual failure rate is 47%. Honestly, you might have a failure. You've got 2 engines. What's the worst that can happen? Well, obviously a lot of things. I'm asking for the terrible things to happen now, aren't I? Do we want to put extra engines on? I mean, I would love to, but I don't know what I could get rid of. We're honestly running very light right now. We have 2 weapon systems, admittedly, but I don't know what I could chuck off. A second missile might be beneficial. It's only 45 tons. And then, what if I put a second, another engine on? Brings us just above the magic number. Because 333 would allow us to have 3 per hangar bay. What if I got rid of the tiny fuel tank? That might work. The range is 2.8 billion. So let's look at the range in terms of the solar system. So let's go to Sol. Remember, this is halfway because we have to come back, so we're talking about 1.4, really. It's good. But our fire range is going to be, what, 20 times that? Yeah, so they can operate outside of our fire range. Because we're probably aiming to be, well, if we aim for 200 million kilometers, it's looking about 10 times our fire range. Yeah, okay, that's probably worth it. Because we will need to use our sensors, so we'll be... Yeah, because we'll be using our active sensors, we're going to be within range. Because we need our active sensors on the carrier to designate the enemy. So we need to be within range of the active sensors. Even if the active sensors are big, which I plan them to be, we'll only see enemies at about 600 million kilometers. So with almost 3 billion kilometers, we are good. In fact, we might be a little bit over, if anything. But I don't actually want to add any more to the ship. I don't know what I would add that I could get rid of a couple of fuel tanks for. There's nothing that I can really go, oh, you know what we really need? That. Yeah. I like it. We could have gone with a more efficient engine, but that would have saved a little bit of fuel. I don't think it'd be worth it. Like I said, the fuel isn't our issue. We can go for 3 days. The fuel will last for 1.5. If we did go to a more efficient engine, just out of interest, $4.6, which is about 3 days, and we've got 3 days deployment time. But our speed does drop below 20k, well, 20k kilometers, so 20 million meters. And that's not acceptable to me. To get to higher speed, I would need to go for an extra engine, which would put us over our threshold. I think this is going to have to do. 2 crew. I would like a bigger engine. Maybe I should have gone for some sort of halfway house in terms of engine. A little bit more power, just so I could go for 2 days of full power rather than 34 hours. There is nothing here I can get rid of. I mean, we don't even have armor. Maybe we should think about making them a little bit larger so they can have armor. But then again, armor cuts our speed a little bit. That said, not much. We can get armor rating 3 and still be reasonable. One armor. Okay, what if we go for 400 tons? That way, in 2 berths of 1,000, so in 2,000 tons, we could have 4 of these craft. We could add another engine for that, which would decrease our range. So I don't really want to do that. We could add a bit more fuel, which I think is probably a good plan. If we go for a small fuel tank, yeah, we're up to about 2 days worth of fuel. We could go for 3 armor. Honestly, that puts us a little bit over what I really want for the speed. I don't really want to drop the speed anymore. We're 7 tons over getting extra engine in. Because if I put an extra engine in... Actually, we're a bit more over because I assume that we had to add something else. So that speed is very nice. That's a respectable speed right there. There is nothing we could chuck off at this stage. Maybe if we went with less powerful engines. Forget about fuel. 20,000 meters per second. 2 days worth of fuel. Or extra fuel. 2 days worth of fuel. Goes faster. It drinks fuel faster, but whatever. Could give it a long deployment range, I guess. And the annoying thing is, if I just shaved a little bit of weight off, I could get this to work. The armor wouldn't do it. We need to shave another 10 tons. I'm trying to eye what I could get rid of now. Ooh, that is tempting. That is very fast. Actually, I mean, we have dropped our armor rating significantly, but almost 2 days worth of fuel. We're going over 25,000 kilometers per second. I like it. The Resonance fighter bomber is going to be one hell of a ship. Now, of course, we need to give it a missile. I don't know if I'd load the missile directly in. I can't really tell, unfortunately, without designing a missile. So we should design that missile ASAP. So, this is the missile we want. We want engine missile size points of 182. So, where is my tech designer? Tech. Missile, engine, inertial confinement, power. .182. That's 282. 1. Actually, I should go to 2 and then come down. 182. There we go. And you are the Shane Kills. Not Shen Kills. Obviously, XCOM is on my brain. Shane Kills. 9.1 EP. Internal fusion drive. I don't really think to put the fuel consumption or anything on there. It's a missile engine. It's fine. Create it. Research it in a ridiculously short period of time. Power propulsion. And you'll be done within 5 days. I also have 8 labs spare, just because. In which case you get all the labs. 5 days. Oh, hello. Did something interesting happen there? Killed an accident, unassigned, finished. Oh, okay, so no, nothing interesting happened. Missile design, close it because it will not update. Then missile design. Right. Pull up this list. Boop. I would like a warhead of 2.5. I would like a fuel capacity of 0.5. 1.17? 1? 9? 1? Oh, 0.8. There we go. That's roughly it. And that gives us, that gives us pretty much what we were looking for. And it will hit really hard. Doesn't have the range of the other ones, but it will hit hard. Its range is a little bit down, but oh well. You are... Who made our missiles again? For the life of me, I cannot remember. I can't look it up in my standard. Damn. Aha! I think I know where to look it up. I would like to go industry, stockpiles. Chipmunk. We should probably have a separate line of missiles for our anti-missile missiles and our anti-ship missiles. And these are our special fighter missiles. So yeah, let's rename these. That is not the missiles. Missile, there we go. You are going to be the Richard Fawcett. So 4-sit, size 6, warhead 25, speed 30k, range 67k, and your 10k to hit is, so 10k percent, 91%. I prefer that format, although the other one is probably more correct, looking for like programmy type stuff. Yes. Create. Set series. Change the missile series ID for the currently selected previous design. Missile series. Ooh. Okay, create series. This is the... Oh, I didn't write anti-ship. That should be pretty obvious from the stats. Fawcett. Basically, a missile series means that we can upgrade missiles on all ships, and they'll do it automatically by having like newer missile tech and stuff. We should have probably done that from the start, but we didn't, so oh well. And ideally, once we research this, because we're back to the research screen again, it'll be under kinetics. Fawcett, there we go. And you are busy. We're going to cancel that. Fawcett. Just do it straight away. How long will it take you? 10th of January? Might be done in 5 days. We'll have to find out. Yes, they've completed research. Right, so if I open up the ship design, plus design, there we go, and we refresh tech, we could just boop, boop. Ordnance, Fawcett. Yeah, there we go. It starts with them boxed, ready to go. 2 Fawcett, size 6 warhead 25, speed 30k, range 67k, 10k to hit percentage 91%. This should be a pretty powerful little baby. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Now, of course, the range is a little bit limited, but we're still talking about 4 billion kilometers or whatever. It says 40 billion kilometers down here. I'm just trying to figure out why that is. Design view. It's 4 billion. 1, 2, 3. That does say 40, doesn't it? Yeah, whatever. It's fast. It's a bit heavier than I'd like, but it's lighter than I could have gone for if I'd gone for the full 500 ton. And it's only got 2 crew. So that only means we need a few spare berths on our big-ass carrier, which should be pretty good. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll probably cut the episode here. The reason being that I don't know how long these are going to run, and I know I've gone 50 minutes designing a fighter, but I'm probably going to try and cut bits of this to make it a little bit faster. As we go through the other ships, of course, it will be faster. We've done them before. We haven't done a fighter before. Carrier, maybe there's a little bit of playing around with, but honestly, not that much. And I will probably start doing a lot of the research off screen. Yeah, I think I'll design the missiles off screen as well, because they can be finicky. And honestly, you've seen me design missiles many times now. This is going to be a special case scenario because this missile is designed to be short range and has to hit hard. Because if we're chasing someone down, they're running away, we need to cripple them. They need to get their engine damaged. So we should be good. I'm going to start working on some missile tech. I will get back to you when we actually start designing the ships proper. And I'll probably have most of our systems designed then, and we'll just start dumping them in. And I'll talk about them as we start dumping them in. We may need to go and tweak a few things to make them work in the certain sizes, but overall we should be fine. I'm going to aim for this task group to be a speed of 5,000 kilometers per second. It's not particularly fast. I would prefer to go higher. I would prefer to aim for about 7. But since they're missile boats, they don't need to be able to chase people down particularly fast. We have range advantage. We're going to go for range advantage with this group. So we should be able to be like, yeah, cool. If you want to fight us, you have to come through our missile barrage and you're probably going to be dead. So we're going to play for range. I would like to get 7k if I can. 5k, I would be sad. If it needs to happen, it needs to happen, but I would be very sad at 5k. And especially with the upgraded engine designs, I think we can do it. But anyway, I've been EnterElysium. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, not subscribe, please consider subscribing. Of course, we went through our fighter in a little bit of detail this time around. No armor to really speak of. No armor to really speak of at all. Hopefully, it won't get too badly damaged. Although, that said, we'll be launching enough of them that we can take a couple of hits. And we are going so fast that they're going to have a little bit of trouble hitting us. Depends on their tech level. Hopefully, we won't get targeted too much. We are, trying to go in dark. But anyway, I've been EnterElysium. Till next time, stay shiny.